fountain service, vending and cooler equipment to restaurants, business offices, and malls. Khalil's brands include soft drinks, waters, teas, sports, lifestyle, and energy drinks. KhalilBottling.com.
Foxes can be found on almost every continent, and their range is increasing.
Red foxes can change their behavior to take advantage of any opening.
This drive to dominate the landscape may rival our own. So have we met our match?
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19th at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from...
I'm David Goldstein, owner of Biltmore Loan and Jewelry. We buy or loan on upscale assets. We have over 30 years of experience in determining values of automobiles, jewelry, art, collectibles, and antiques. For more information and appointments, BiltmoreLoan.com.
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
It's International Day of the Girl today, and Boy Scouts are now welcoming girls into their troops.
Plus, Arizona Congresswoman Kyrsten Sinema says she's ready to wear a ring, one that's embedded with her financial information in an effort to make a cashless society.
And the outdoor jail Tent City is closed for good. How is this change impacting taxpayers?
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Madison Connor.
And I'm Tyler Finger. Thank you for joining us. In historic change, the Boy Scouts announced plans today to admit girls into the Cub Scouts starting next year and to establish a new program for older girls using the same curriculum as the Boy Scouts. Reporter Fortessa Latifi is tracking the response here in Arizona.
The CEO of the Grand Canyon chapter told me this afternoon that this decision was not a political one, even though that's been much of the reaction on social media since this morning's announcement. The Boy Scouts of America outlined a plan in which girls will be allowed to participate in the Boy Scouts, but the dens will be separated by gender until the age of 14. Cub Scout packs, which are larger than dens, can accept both boy and girl members. And starting in 2019, girls will be able to earn the coveted rank of Eagle Scout. The Grand Canyon Council is the 5th largest Boy Scout council in the U.S., and it's headquartered in Phoenix. CEO Larry Abbott told me he didn't know the decision was coming today, but he is prepared and excited about the new options for parents and families.
We had a lot of parents coming to us saying, well, you'll take our boys, but nobody's here to help our girls, so can't you help our girls? And we said, yeah, why can't we help your girls? And so it has nothing to do at all with political correctness. It has to do with helping kids grow up to be good citizens.
But the Girl Scouts organization isn't happy about the move, saying it strains the bond between the two groups. In a letter obtained by BuzzFeed, Girl Scout President Kathy Hapinka Hannon wrote, "It is unsettling that BSA would seek to upend a paradigm that has served both boys and girls so well throughout the years by undercutting Girl Scouts of the USA." The announcement came on International Day of the Girl. In downtown Phoenix, Fortessa Latifi, Cronkite News.
The Arizona legislature launched an LGBT caucus today on the 29th anniversary of National Coming Out Day. The caucus is composed of 4 state representatives who will be the voice for Arizonans who identify as LGBT. According to data from the Movement Advancement Project, that's 4% of adults in Arizona. The caucus plans on creating legislation to improve the lives of lesbian, gay, and transgender residents. Senate Minority Leader Rebecca Rios called it a historic move to ensure all groups have a seat at the table.
Today, this marks a momentous day in Arizona, a day of progress in a state that is not always seen as progressive. And so it is my honor to stand here today. I'm very excited, and this is a win for Arizona.
Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton proclaimed October 11th, 2017 as Diversity Employment Day. Reporter Nicole Gutierrez attended a career fair today where she spoke to employers and attendees about the importance of having a diverse workforce.
The 17th Annual Diversity Employment Day Career Fair targets candidates of all classes and backgrounds with the purpose of adding diversity and awareness in the workforce. I spoke to employers and attendees on what the mutual opportunities are of having inclusive business.
This is a great example that things can be possible, that there is a lot of opportunities for everyone.
The 17th Annual Diversity Employment Day Career Fair encouraged people of diverse backgrounds to come find a new job.
This brings about the importance of the diversity in the workplace. A lot of companies also do need to do specific outreach for diversity, as well as to be able to fill diversity initiatives which are required for some of them.
The career fair is open to anyone and is free of charge. Attendees just pick up a form and fill out what their recent work is, their education, and what type of position they're looking for. Attendees like Dallas Diaz has past experience working in an environment that's inclusive and innovative. That's why she was here, specifically taking interest in the employers at the fair.
When you level out the playing field in your organization to give anybody a chance despite where they come from, just based on their skills and their knowledge and their passion to do the job right or to help other people, I think it really shows.
With more than 20 employers recruiting, the Jewish Family and Children's Service is one example of an employer that believes their diverse staff is key to keeping clients satisfied while promoting unity.
It's very important with our clients that we meet with. We are looking for individuals that are bilingual as well as part of our community and that are able to assist our clients that we serve. It helps our clients also relate to our staff, which promotes unity within our group and helps us help them.
Darlene Enfield, coordinator of the fair, says the value of this event is to bring a diversity of opinions from attendees to potential employers. May 17, 2018 will be the next annual Employment Day Career Fair in Phoenix. In the broadcast center, Nicole Gutierrez, Cronkite News.
What's in your wallet? It's a familiar slogan for a credit card, but we may soon be asking what's on your phone or your smartwatch. That idea of a cashless society was the focus of a panel in Washington today that featured government officials, business executives, and one lawmaker from Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Bailey Vogt joins us live from our Washington bureau. Bailey?
A world where your credit card can be controlled by the ring on your finger. It may sound far-fetched, but that technology is already here. And Arizona Congresswoman Kyrsten Sinema, for one, says she's ready.
I want that ring. I want the payment ring. I will pay for market value, but I want the payment ring. Like, as soon as I learned about it, I was like, this is amazing. When can I have it? Do you have it in rose gold?
Sinema was part of a panel in Washington today talking about the idea of a cashless society, what a world with only electronic payment might be like, and what needs to be done to get there. The private sector can't get there alone, said panel member Ellen Ritchie, Visa's vice chairman of risk and public policy.
Government has a big role to play in promoting a cashless society and realizing all those benefits, and particularly national governments. And Representative Sinema has been a true leader in the move towards supporting electronic payments in the U.S. Congress.
Ritchie said going fully electronic could have financial benefits for governments, businesses, and consumers, but that people have to be willing to adopt the technology first. Sinema says that while younger generations are already moving towards a cashless life, older Americans' reservations about not using physical currency is slowing the transition.
Gen Xers and younger are really interested and excited about a cashless society, and folks who are, more experienced perhaps than Gen X, baby boomers and older, are wary.
Cinema, who claims to live a cashless life herself, says that the federal government needs to put better security systems into place before a fully electronic system would work.
So we have a lot of work to do to help, one, consumers feel safe and secure about moving to a cashless society, and building in the structures we need to build to provide for that protection of privacy and for the protection of folks' data and resources.
While the notion of a cashless society is attractive to some, the idea also has its critics, including those who say the big winners in such a system would be companies like Visa that are managing the money. Reporting live in Washington, Bailey Vogt, Cronkite News.
Meanwhile, Arizona Representative Tom O'Halloran took advantage of an open mic at a House committee hearing to discuss the nationwide opioid epidemic. Cronkite News reporter Fraser Allen Best has the latest.
Dozens of elected officials spoke today about the opioid epidemic, but Arizona Congressman Tom O'Halloran spoke from a viewpoint of a former cop.
The devastation that opioids have wrought on our communities is far more impactful than the drugs I fought to keep off the streets when I was a cop.
O'Halloran is a member of the Bipartisan Heroin Task Force, which released a report this summer calling for a menu of approaches to dealing with the problem. Those included better treatment and prevention and tougher drug interdiction efforts at the border, among others. O'Halloran said stopping opioid abuse is important because it can head off other crimes.
The pain family members face, including child abuse, domestic abuse, and the loss of a loved one, and also the relationship to organized crime.
Speakers touched on a range of solutions, from tougher criminal enforcement to making sure that Medicaid funding remains in place for treatment programs. O'Halloran said funding is particularly important in rural areas, like his district, where the hospitals are already cash-strapped.
The increase in coverage has allowed rural providers to operate on the thinnest of margins to help keep their lights on and their doors open.
This hearing comes 1 week after Representative O'Halloran published an op-ed on Pinal Central. In that piece, he said we need to train police on how to deal with those struggling with addiction. Otherwise, he said, recidivism would continue to rise and overdose deaths would increase.
We need to treat them. That's the most important aspect of this. And they'll get better treatment outside of the penal institution as long as they're not selling drugs and no violent crime.
In Washington, Fraser Allen Best, Cronkite News.
Now that former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio's court case has been dismissed, many are wondering how the current sheriff plans to move forward. Cronkite News reporter Bridget Dowd sat down with Sheriff Paul Penzone to find out.
When I spoke to Sheriff Penzone, he talked about the role police officers have played in immigration enforcement in the past. He says instances of racial profiling and discrimination will not be tolerated, as an officer's main duty should be keeping the community safe. And as far as Arpaio's case, Penzone says he's disappointed.
When it comes to the men and women's organization, I think it was in many ways an insult to them also, because they every day come to work not trying to right the wrong, trying to improve the quality of service from this organization. And in many ways, they're paying the debt because of the decisions that he made as the leader. So he was, given the freedom without any accountability, whereas we are and will continue to be accountable because that's the right thing to do. So as the sheriff, when I look at that and I say we should all be treated equally under the law, there's a circumstance where many could argue that wasn't the case.
Tune in to Cronkite News tomorrow night at 5 to see more of my interview with Sheriff Penzone. Bridget Dowd, Cronkite News.
One of Penzone's initiatives to shut down the outdoor jail known as Tent City officially happened over the weekend. Tent City was championed by former Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and after Penzone defeated him in last year's election, Penzone promised to remove it after what he called a circus. The jail was often criticized for being inhumane and ineffective in reducing crime. Closing the outdoor establishment is expected to save Maricopa County taxpayers more than $4 million. Las Vegas, Pulse nightclub, Sandy Hook, and Virginia Tech, 4 of the 5 deadliest shootings in the U.S. history have occurred in the past 10 years.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how exposure to frequent violence has desensitized millennials and what we can do to stop it.
What if you could practice yourself into peace? That's what One Valley Meditation Center is hoping for.
The timeline of the Las Vegas shooting massacre continues to change as the investigation progresses. Detectives say a Mandalay Bay hotel security guard was shot in the leg outside of the shooter's hotel room, much earlier than they had previously thought.
What we have learned is Mr. Campos was encountered by the suspect prior to his shooting to the outside world.
Before, we were starting to look to the guard's appearance outside his door as perhaps being the beginning of the end of the event. And now it looks like it may be more the beginning of the event.
In the revised timeline, police say investigators still don't know what made the shooter stop firing on the crowd or what his motive was. They say he had personal protection equipment in his room, which leads police to believe the shooter may have had a plan to escape.
The Las Vegas shooting is the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history, and 6 of the 10 deadliest incidents happened in the past 10 years. Now, younger generations are sharing why they believe these occurrences have desensitized them. Reporter Alex Valdez joins us now in the broadcast center.
Since the Las Vegas shooting, there have been 4 more mass shooting incidents where 4 or more people are shot. According to the data from gun violence archives, for millennials who grew up in the era of mass shootings, those we talked to say events of violence are just the new normal.
To continually be bombarded with aggressive stories, events, violence, I think it is very easy to not be vigilant with those, not take notice. You become desensitized.
Dr. Jennifer Gatt, a child psychologist, says that desensitization can start during childhood by being exposed to certain events. I talked to several students who say they see those symptoms in themselves.
Have all these things that happen during our lifetime that it's just kind of, that's the world we live in. And, to expect something, is it surprising? No, it's the world we live in.
Millennials say mass shootings like the one that happened in Las Vegas are tragic, but these violent events are expected more now than they ever were. When it comes to mass shootings here in the United States, many millennials here at ASU share today that they see these events as just normal occurrences in their lifetime.
It's sort of become like a regular thing, like we've become used to it. And it's sad to say
how it is normalized to other people, and just like it's a awful thing that happened to everybody, but how it affects different people is sad.
I'm not happy that it's being normalized. I wish we could reverse that trend.
The way to reverse the trend starts early in life.
We have access to violent video games and movies and music and social media. I think the desensitization is, certainly could happen at a younger age.
Dr. Gatt says for anyone struggling emotionally after tragedy, she suggests that people self-monitor why they're feeling a certain way, then take action by seeking help from a doctor. In the broadcast center, Alex Valdez, Cronkite News.
The art of meditation has been practiced in the East for thousands of years, but in recent decades, its popularity has also begun to spread to the West. And as reporter Tim Johns got to find out, with its popularity surging, One Valley business has been at the forefront of spreading this ancient practice.
Margaret Beresford, like many of us, leads a seemingly non-stop and stressful life. Tired of feeling disconnected from the world around her, Beresford turned to meditation several years ago.
I'm using it as a way to actually reconnect with myself, center myself, and be present in the moment so I can be in the moment and connect with people in the moment.
Beresford practices at Current Meditation, the world's first meditation franchise that opened its doors in Arcadia just last year. Ross Weissman is the CEO of Current Meditation. He believes that one of the reasons why meditation is so popular among people is because its benefits stay with you throughout the entire day.
Every class that we put on has scientifically backed techniques included. Those are mindfulness techniques and harmonic sound. Each of those are techniques that bring your brain through different brainwave states.
Weissman isn't alone in his thinking. According to Fortune magazine, meditation is now a billion-dollar business, and one that Weissman is keen to become an industry leader in. Current Meditation plans to open up as many as 175 new locations nationwide in the next 3 years. And for Beresford, she hopes that others are able to benefit from this growing trend as much as she has.
I'm working towards getting to the place where I feel like I would be able to have the control over my mind in a much deeper way that would allow me to live my best life.
But in the meantime, current meditation says it can help people find a moment of peace in their stressful lives. In Arcadia, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
Arizona has focused its sights on developing sustainable solar energy over the last decade.
And now lawmakers have set their sights on the western part of the state. Coming up on Cronkite News, these solar developments will be bringing much more than just sustainable energy to the community.
And we've been seeing ourselves keep this warm weather. What's coming up next? I'll have your 7-day forecast coming up on Cronkite News.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
Right now, firefighters are trying to get nearly 24 wildfires under control across the state of California. At least 21 people are dead and 3,500 homes and businesses have been destroyed in some of the most destructive wildfires in the state's history. Some of the worst are in the state's wine country. At last check, more than 8,000 firefighters are battling the blazes. La Paz County officials hope to turn sunlight into gold, or at least more green, for the county and its residents.
Officials believe a proposed solar power project will bring jobs to the county, but they need help from Congress first. Cronkite News reporter Trevor Fay has the story from our Washington bureau.
Less than 20% of land in Arizona is privately held, and in La Paz County, that number falls to just 6%. Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar says that's not enough private land to spur economic development.
Because of the immense federal footprint in the county, a land transfer is necessary to secure enough space for meaningful renewable energy development.
So Gosar is pushing a bill to transfer 8,000 acres from federal to county hands. The land could be used to develop a massive solar power project. The privately funded project would be off Interstate 10 near the Maricopa County border. D.L. Wilson of the La Paz County Board of Supervisors says a solar plant could provide jobs for his county.
Our vision is to attract new industry, especially photovoltaic solar development, to this strategic location to diversify our local economy, create quality jobs, and increase the tax base so our rural county can adequately meet the growing needs of our citizens.
But the Center for Biological Diversity says the government should not be in such a rush to give away public lands. Brett Hartle, Government Affairs Director for the center, says he supports renewable solar energy, but calls Gosar's bill shady. Hartle claims a private power project could end up benefiting private companies more than citizens, and he called for more public input on an economic project of this size. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
We got a taste of cooler weather on Monday, but that quickly faded away.
Meanwhile, things are heating up in the tropics.
Chelsea Ray Ibanez is tracking our weather. Chelsea?
Earlier this afternoon, Ophelia was named the 10th tropical storm to become a hurricane in the Atlantic. Now, this type of streak has not happened since 1893. Thankfully, this storm will not be reaching the United States, where Phoenix is leading the nation's high at 96. It does get a little bit cooler as we get up north. Grand Canyon right now at 72, Flagstaff at 66, Prescott at 78. But when we come further into the valley, we do get back into those warm temperatures into the mid-90s. Thankfully, those are going to cool off later tonight. Cave Creek will be at 77, Apache Junction at 79, Florence at 78 around 9 p.m. tonight. For the rest of our week, we will stay warm. We're going to be at 94 tomorrow, 93 on Friday, Saturday 92, and we're going to see a little bit of a jump on Sunday, 95 as our high, and we're going to carry that onto Monday and Tuesday. We'll see a little bit of a dip on Wednesday at 93 and clear skies for the remainder of the week. I'm Chelsea Ray Ibanez, Cronkite Weather.
It's a path to hope and independence for some Arizonans living with Down syndrome.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take you to Gigi's Playhouse, where smiles and sensory learning go hand in hand.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
A sensory learning technique is leading young people with Down syndrome toward a path of independence. Cronkite News reporter Sierra Delgado went to Gigi's Playhouse in Scottsdale to explore how students are educated using this unique system.
7, 8.
Brett Schatzman counts on learning at Gigi's Playhouse, a center for people of all ages diagnosed with Down syndrome.
Math is fun. I'm very nervous about math.
Touch math is a sensory type of learning that helps students count numbers. They use touch points to help the students know what number is what and how to add them.
4.
Enrollment is free and students are paired with tutors who help them with their homework and study sessions, no matter how they learn.
Some people are more visual learners and some are more auditory, like hearing. They can hear something and learn it. And some people are very tactile, where it helps to touch and do things in order to learn.
St. John says students of sensory learning can better grasp the abstract concept of numbers. Marlene Schatzman, Brett's mom, says that has opened up avenues of independence for her son, now that he is out of high school.
He had somewhere to be every single day, and when that stops, you're kind of like, what's going to happen? He has a place to be, and his life is fulfilled. You know, that's all we all want, is just to have somewhere to be and to belong.
According to the National Center of Health, Physical Activity, and Disability, a 2015 survey says 57% of adults with Down syndrome were employed. More than 30% of those taking the survey said they were unemployed because of lack of job skill teaching programs and job coaching.
How about cooking next door? Not yet, but wait for just got it all done.
Schatzman hopes sensory learning will help Brett find a job one day. In Phoenix, Sierra Delgado, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, efforts are underway to incorporate the Santan Valley, and a new documentary tells the story of astronomy in southern Arizona. It's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, we're on the ground in Iran to gauge reaction there to U.S. threats to leave the nuclear deal. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Stonehenge. Who built it?
Well, that's a lot of bone.
Will 5,000-year-old bones solve the puzzle?
Have they come from somewhere else?
Why did they build it? And what happened to them?
We have found the smoking gun.
The Ghosts of Stonehenge on Nova.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Hi, I'm Judy Woodruff, co-anchor of the PBS NewsHour. Preparing the next generation of journalists has never been more important than it is now. With its groundbreaking partnership with Arizona PBS, the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU is revolutionizing journalism education to provide students with a real opportunity to work and learn under the supervision of veteran journalists, producers, directors, and editors on newscasts, investigative stories, and documentary productions. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, reinventing journalism education in the digital age.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Sunday nights on PBS, the place to be for a full night of masterpiece programs. Beginning with an all-new season of The Duros in Corfu.
As a mother, I have to be ringmaster and lion tamer.
Followed by Poldark.
How do you sleep at night, George? Perhaps you should ask Elizabeth.
And The Collection.
I made you. Yes, but now you're prepared to destroy me.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers, personalized cancer care through medical oncology, radiation oncology, and radiology services, focusing on emotional, physical, and social support, outsmarting cancer one patient at a time. Whitfill Nursery, proud to support Arizona PBS, a Valley tradition since 1946. Over 200 acres of Arizona-grown trees, citrus, and palms. Complete custom design and installation. And Whitfill Nursery still does the digging. WhitfillNursery.com.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a discussion on free speech in light of NFL protests and the president's threats against a major TV network. Also tonight, a new city could be in the works as Santan Valley moves to incorporate, and a new documentary looks at the history of astronomy in southern Arizona. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.